Are y'all ready? It's time. Woo! Good evening, y'all, and welcome to Moments with Mama Sue. It's another wonderful opportunity. Aren't y'all just glad that we made it to May? We're already in the month of May. What happened to the rest of this year? It has gone by so fast. But happy May 1st to everybody. It's just like the best times because they roll by so fast. So you have to kind of mark it somewhere on your calendar, in your mind, or in time with a comment or something so you can know you were right there for a minute. So happy May 1st. So when we go back and watch this, we'll say, well, we did experience May the 1st because it goes zoom past us before we can even hardly recognize what is going on. If you're watching with us for the very first time, I'm so glad that you're here. Be sure and drop your name in the chat and let us know where you're watching with us from. We're glad to have you. Our special greeter is going up and down in the comment section, and she's saying hello to everybody. That's none other than Lori L.A. Williams, and I'm just excited to see all of you here. If you're watching with us in real time, thank you so much. Please like and share. And if it's your very first time to be on Moments with Mama Sue, be sure and let us know that too, because I always go back through the recordings. I look at all the comments, and I like to send a little something, something along to those who are watching for the first time. I'm so excited that you took time out of your busy schedule to spend a little time with yours truly. That means the world to me. And then we got to give a shout out to all of those who will watch a little bit later, and you're going to watch the replay. That means a lot to me too, because whenever you're watching, it's just good. I get comments all the time. Even after the broadcast, people will comment on guests or answer questions or share information. And I just love it because you already know connecting with you is the very best part of my day. Well, I have a few things to kind of tell you about before we get started just and get really, really busy. I want to give a shout out to all of the listeners on WJIL.today who tune in and hear Moments with Mama Sue on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays 3 o'clock a.m. somewhere in the world, somebody is listening. 10 o'clock a.m. and 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and at www.wjil.today, Gospel Radio, Roku, and Fire Stick TV. So for those of you that are watching, I love you, and I do believe that God is up to something. He gives us an opportunity to make connection and get an opportunity to get together. I absolutely love it. So I thank you for watching, and I want you to stay tuned because we got some great things coming up that we're going to be sharing in the future. Also, on tomorrow, the first and third Tuesday of every month, I'm going over to the Southeast Senior Center here in Midland, America, and we have our senior sing-along. We do hymns, inspirational music, and we talk to y'all. We be really talking, but we have a great time. So I want to invite you. If you're in West Texas, you can come over and be with us in person. If you're not to worry. All you have to do is tune in to my Facebook page, Mama Sue Roseberry, around 10:30-ish. And we go live, and you can hear us on there just really singing. I'm really playing up a storm, and we have the best time, most especially because you're able to join us. We actually get some requests for selections and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, and I want you to be a part of it. Please join us. Also, I want you to know we're just about a week away from one of the most important days on the calendar. In fact, I think it should be a Mother's Day month. But since they only have one day, we got to make it big, y'all. We got to make it big. So if you don't already have it, download or stream Mama, You Mean Everything. It's a beautiful song that I actually wrote a couple of years ago for a broadcast we were doing on Basin PBS. And since then, we've gone on to record it. So it's everywhere that you get your digital music from. So wherever you listen, go ahead and stream it, add it to your playlist, and play it for your moms. And if you're a mom, I hope you listen to the sentiments of it and know just how miraculously wonderful you are for doing all the things that you do. It takes a whole lot to be a mom out here in these streets. It's a lot going on. So if you are a mother, we're celebrating you right now with that song. And then last but not least, I want to tell you that Thoughts from the Heart is available. That's a daily thought and inspirational quotes from yours truly. They're all original. I call them Mama Sueisms, something that I would be saying, and you can have a whole year's worth of Mama Sueisms just to put on your desk or wherever. Let's see what I said for today. May the 1st, and it's perpetual, so no year, so you can just keep flipping. Today it says, there is a word for unselfish devotion and giving like no other, a word that means unparalleled strength. For me, that word is mother. Mothers are so special. They should be celebrated more than just one day. So here's to a month-long celebration of these wonderful ladies. That's what's on the calendar for today, but you can order it at www.sueroseberry.com. Now then, that we have gotten all of the announcements out of the way and we're rolling and we're getting ready to have our very special guest, I hope that you are ready to hear from the amazing guest that I have. I'm going to introduce her and we're going to talk to her right after this.
It's beyond entertainment. It's an experience. Book Mama Sue Roseberry today.
Worthy.
Yes, listen, I am so excited. If you've tuned in today, you are in for a remarkable treat. I met this wonderful woman some years ago. I don't remember exactly how many ago. She was at that time a journalist for CBS 7. And since then, I've just kind of followed her career, and we run into each other at different events because she is a mom, she's a journalist, she's a fabulous MC, podcast personality. She just does so many things and she does them all so well. I want you to go ahead, start putting it in the chat. Yay! We get an opportunity to visit with Krista Escamilla. You guys welcome her to Moments with Mama Sue.
Thank you, Mama Sue, for having me on. I cannot tell you what an honor it is to be on your show and to have the roles reversed for once, right? I'm always interviewing you, and now we get to have a switcheroo here. This is fun.
Oh, yeah, I am so excited. Listen, how long have you lived in West Texas?
So I moved here in 98. So if my math is correct, 25 years? Is that right? Yeah, so 25 years I've been here in West Texas.
Well, you have become a staple because I see you not only on the broadcasts and at different events as an MC, but you just seem to have a light on the inside of you. And it shines out in your smile and in your eyes. Tell us about your role as a mom, because we're coming up to Mother's Day and you're a mom. People won't believe that you have what I call a passel of children.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, being a mom is really, truly the greatest gift in this world. I am blessed beyond measure, my husband Al and I, to be the parents of 4 amazing children. Austin will be 23 in 9 days. He's my Mother's Day baby, the one who made me a mom, and usually his birthday always falls right around Mother's Day. And so we have Austin, we have Aspen. She is 21 years old, a bright, shining light as well. And Alexandra, or Allie, as we call her, or Biddy, because she was itty bitty when she was born. And so Biddy is 19 years old. And then our son, we call them our bookend boys. So rounding out with the 4th child is our little, just amazing son, Alex. And he is the one that keeps us all young. He's the one we feel like we've all raised together, being the youngest. He is so much fun. And I love nothing more than being a mom.
Well, your children, I'm sure, hear all the time. She looks like she could be your older sister because you look so young to have children, especially the age of the oldest one of Austin. Do you hear that a lot? Do the kids hear that?
Well, thank you. Yeah, occasionally they will say it, and then I just say, you need to put your glass on because there's lots of wrinkles here. Yeah, let's get them. We can get the camera a little closer. They're definitely there. They are, gosh, I mean, I could go on and on about our kids and being their mom. And I'm just so grateful and feel very blessed and to be put in any category with them. If I look like their sister, great.
Well, we're getting ready to come up to Mother's Day. What do you feel like has been the biggest challenge of being a mother?
Oh, biggest challenge. I think every season of their life has different challenges, and really there's different seasons of motherhood that has different challenges. Like when I see a mom of toddlers and they look so tired and stressed out, and I know they haven't slept in years, and they just look like they could just drop at any moment. I always, try to give them some encouragement and say, I know right now is physically exhausting, but when they become teenagers, it's mentally exhausting. And they just look at me like, oh, great, I have that to look forward to. But I would say, there are so many wonderful things about being a mom. I think the challenge truly is just enjoying the stage and the moment they're in. I was given the best advice when we were pregnant with our firstborn, with Austin. Another mom at my baby shower said, never wish them out of a stage. And I thought, at the time, I thought, oh, that's great advice, but I didn't really understand it until 2 or 3 kids later. And then I thought, that is such wonderful, beautiful advice, because it goes so fast. And now looking back, with 3 of our 4 kids out of the house and they're in college, or we have college graduate, I now realize that those are the moments, those days where you are running around frazzled and you're so stressed out, but they look at you and they need that smile and that word of encouragement. Those are the moments. So try to never wish them out of a stage was really the best piece of advice I'd ever received, about parenting, because it's easy to always be thinking ahead, but really just the important thing is to stay in the moment. So that's my motherhood advice.
That is great advice, because, we live on so many timelines, especially when your kids start getting busy with extracurricular sports and doing all kinds of stuff. And it gets to be overwhelming sometime. And I don't think we're really wishing the moments with them away, but it's just the frustration of trying to make deadlines.
Right. And then you're also trying to pay the bills. You're also trying to get, you've got to go to work. You've got to get the laundry done. You have so much that is on you, but you know what? It's okay if the dishes pile up and the socks don't match. That's okay. Just try to enjoy that moment and enjoy those times, because they go by so fast. And that's another thing people say all the time, when you have little ones, oh, the years go by fast. Well, they're right. They go by so fast. So just truly enjoy those, those moments with them, and just cherish the times.
Absolutely. Well, what is one of the most heartwarming gifts you have received as a mother? Because, the kids give us gifts for Mother's Day and Christmas. What's one of the best gifts, the most heartwarming gifts you've received?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, the kids are the gifts, truly. Just anytime I can be with them, and especially the older they get, the more you realize the times to have all 4 of your kids together in one house at the same time. Now, if we get it for 24 hours, we are just cheering up and down. That is a true gift. So I would say time, for sure, is the most beautiful gift that they've given me, is any time with them. Of course, the cards through the years, those are my favorite. I can go back and look at cards that they've written, or a piece of artwork that they've given me, and I keep all of it. I probably keep too much if you look in my office, but I love those things, because to me, that's what it's all about. For my husband, Al, and I, God and family are first, no matter what. That is what is the cornerstone of our family, and everything we do for those 2 things. And so they're our why, they're everything. They truly are.
That's great. That is great to know. Well, you came into journalism some 20 odd years ago. What started you out on that track? What made you want to be a journalist?
Well, that's a good question, and thanks for asking that. I grew up in California, a daughter of a dance studio and vocal instructor. And so I grew up in a dance studio. Literally, I would go to school, come home from school, and go to the dance studio every single day. And so dance and singing and performing, it was all part of my life from a young age. When I was in 3rd grade, I actually had a stuttering problem, and my mom put me in speech therapy. And I like to think that was a pretty pivotal moment in my life, when you look back. But many years later, I still struggled with stuttering from time to time. But on the stage, when I was dancing or singing or emceeing, because my mom kept getting me in front of a group of an audience, whether we were performing at a talent competition, or if I was emceeing her talent competitions, or we were performing at a home for the elderly, she just kept pushing me out there and encouraging me to get out there and to keep doing it. And because she felt that was my gift. And so I performed my whole life, became a professional singer and dancer about the age of 17, worked for the San Francisco Opera and also for a theme park. It's now called Six Flags, but at the time it was called Paramount's Great America in Santa Clara, California. And I was a singer and dancer at that. One of their stage performances called It's Magic, did that. And I was in college and I was a theater major and dance major at the time. And I thought, do I really want to audition for all my jobs the rest of my life? I knew my number one, to me, my number one dream and goal was to be a mom. I knew that, but I also knew that I was going to work and I've got to pay the bills. And what can I do that I enjoy doing? And I had a teacher at the time at the community college that I was attending. And he said, you're great at theater and that's good, but I have this TV comm class that I want you to try. And I went and tried it and I loved it. And he said, you might want to kind of look into that. So when I transferred to university 3+ years later, because I was paying for my school, I worked full time. I was, paid for my school 100%. And so when I finally transferred to university, I thought, you know what? I need to try something different. A friend of mine said, why don't you go and you can intern at a TV station and see if you like it. You love lifting others up. That was my favorite thing about emceeing. I just loved encouraging people to live their dreams and live their best life. And she said, I think you would do well as a journalist. Just go see, because you either love it or hate it. And it was really good advice. I went and I interned at KXTV in Sacramento, California. And my first day there, I walked in and I said, I love it. And that was it. I went and switched my major that next day. And the rest is kind of history. I love being able to share people's stories and help them live their best life and shine a light on the good that people are doing. Those are my favorite stories to tell. Uh-oh, Mama Sue, I can't hear you.
Good, there I go. That's how I do sometimes. That's how I do sometimes. But you mentioned that you did not want to audition for every job going forward because it is so hard kind of, putting yourself out there every time. You do still go through some of that. Is it really crazy? Do you get crazy mail, crazy email from watchers, from viewers as you are doing the things that you do as a journalist? Have you experienced that?
I actually get a lot of positive emails. I mean, through the years, I can think back, I've probably had 1 or 2 phone calls where they didn't like what I was wearing or something like that. But for the most part, the emails are encouraging. They are, hey, I would love for you to share this story. I love it when people also, they make a suggestion of who they would love to see in the podcast chair. I do get a lot of those, and I really love that because I want to share the stories of, who everyone in our community wants to hear from. And so I've gotten you're going to be on my podcast. We already recorded it, but yours releases this week. And I had several people say, you need to have Mama Sue on. I'm like, yes, I do need to have Mama Sue on. And so it's, those are the most of the emails that I get. Very encouraging, very positive, and I'm very grateful for that.
Well, you do such an amazing job as an MC. I have been on several programs and you're always having to be alert. People don't realize that if you're doing anything live, anything is subject to happen.
Yes.
So tell us about something bizarre that happened while you were being an MC, but the show must go on.
I would say the biggest thing is just having to stretch. So I always have a couple really bad jokes right here that I can pull out of the bag, right? If I have to stretch, because it seems like sometimes maybe the next performer, they're having a costume debacle backstage, right? Or the music isn't playing. And so you have to stretch a lot when there's a live performance. And so I just always try to have a joke or two or talk to the audience. And to me, the best thing is I always say, be yourself. Anyone that is in an MC position, just like you are. You do it so beautifully. I've heard you on so many occasions, and you are just amazing at this, is connect with the audience. And so to me, there's nothing better than just talking to the audience when you're having to stretch and fill time. And then that to me is the best thing. I'm trying to think, I had an embarrassing moment one time. I was doing a live chili. It was a chili cook-off. I think it was on a morning show years ago, and we were having to do a taste test. And I put the chili in my mouth, and it was so hot it burnt my tongue, and I spit it out on live TV. That was pretty embarrassing, but that's live TV. What do you do? Life goes on, and you spit out the chili, and then you apologize and say it had nothing to do with the chili. It was the temperature. It was the temperature of the chili, not the taste. So.
Oh boy, I can just only imagine. Guys, if you're tuning in with us today, we are talking with Krista Escamilla. She is a journalist, a mom, an entrepreneur. I'm going to let her talk in just a little bit about the store that she and her husband Al run and what that's all about. But in the meantime, I want you guys to like and share, get everybody on board so they can hear what she is sharing with us. And we'll be right back to talk about her being an entrepreneur and what their store has going on right after this. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Miss Annie from way down south. She's loud, she's fun, but you'd better watch out. Put on your seatbelt and take the rollicking ride with the unpredictable Miss Annie as she whips and turns and drives straight into your heart. Own it today at www.sueroseberry.com. Absolutely. Listen, we are having the best time. These moments mean everything to me. Moments with Mama Sue is all about introducing some wonderful people I know to some other wonderful people that I know. And today I'm fortunate to have with us Krista Escamilla.
Thank you, Mama Sue. It's such a pleasure to be here. I cannot even tell you. I love it. I love any moment with you. And I've felt that way from the very first time I interviewed you at Channel 7 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe 18, something like that. And you were talking about the Storyteller Festival. Absolutely. And it's still going on. And thankfully, we're still here to get to enjoy one another in all different kind of facets. But I had an opportunity for the first time when I was on your podcast to go over to the store that you guys have envisioned. I didn't know what kind of store is a Rig ID. Talk about it and tell us what it is and what you all share. Well, thank you for letting me have the chance to talk about it. So Rig ID is our store here in Midland, Texas. And we opened April 15th, 2015. So we're 8 years old, just celebrated our 8-year anniversary. And when it started out, just a little backstory, at the time I was doing the morning show, we were getting a lot of press releases at the time about car accidents, and there were a lot of fatal accidents at the time. And then a week later, we would get another press release, and they still wouldn't be able to identify the family of who the person, unfortunately, that perished was. And so my husband and I were talking one night, and we were like, it's too bad that, that all of our families in the oil field can't wear something with their name on it. So, if for some horrific reason they're in this tragic accident and they don't know who they are because they don't have ID on them because they're working, or they're not carrying it, they can identify it and let the family know of their loss. And so we really kind of came up with the idea of Rig ID bracelets. And we were going to start with just the bracelets and selling those to the oil and gas company. But my husband and I have a background, really more my husband than me, a background in clothing. He loves clothing. We had a clothing line years ago that was in Nordstrom. And he thought, what if we could really have an entire store filled with flame-resistant clothing and focus on the oil and gas industry, but also be able to embroider company logos on for golf tournaments, and also put their logo on for their FR, their non-FR, for their executives. And so really the store grew from there in 2015. And then we evolved into hats. We went through this little thing called a pandemic. We all remember that. And the pandemic really, as many of you know, here in West Texas, oil and gas industry went to, oil below zero. And we really had to pivot. And we then started doing more hats. And so now we do embroidery for hats that are in all the Quick stores. We also have something we call Cap Club, which is joincapclub.com, little push there, but joincapclub.com, you get a dozen hats, a half a dozen koozies, and a surprise promo item every month for $114.99 a month. So it's great for marketing and for your sales team, because then they get to not even think about it and just go pick up their hats with their company logo on it. But then we also do sports too, because my husband and I love sports. All of our kids have played through the years. And so we do sweatshirts and t-shirts with company logos and heat press and engraving. So that's our store in a nutshell. That's what we do.
Yeah. And then you introduced me to something that you created. I just think you have so much creativity. You introduced me to Frackle.
Frackle, isn't it the best? You love it?
It was good.
So
Tell them what Frackle is. Tell them what Frackle is.
I like to say I am an entrepreneur by marriage. My husband is the brainchild of everything. I just love to do what we're doing here right now, right? I love this. I love highlighting companies. I love sharing stories. His creative mind is so good. He wanted to give our customers something that they could take with them when they're heading out to the oil field. Because let's face it, we all get a little hungry in the car, right? We're like, I know in carpool line, when I'm picking up kiddos, I could sit and eat a whole bag of Frackle or really anything that I have in front of me. So Al came up with this idea. He teamed up with I'd Rather Bake, which is a local baking company, Sarah Babel, who's amazing. She is just so talented. Go buy her cakes, cupcakes, cake pops, all of it. So good. And she came up with this combination of something salty and something sweet. And it's the perfect combo. And of course, since we're in West Texas, we thought we'd throw fracking in there and came up with Frackle. So that was Al's idea. And we love it. It's, it's a great little gift to give at the holidays. It's nice to have in the car. We have golfers. It's nice for the golfers to have out on the golf course, because you have to eat while you're, you got to keep the energy up. So that's Frackle.
Well, I love the idea of doing things that remind you of where we are.
Yes.
Where we are in the world. I mean, it's good to think or focus on, California or New York, but we live in West Texas, and there is something that is charming and wonderful about the place we live, however brown it may be.
I could not agree more. I love it. I love where we're from. I feel very lucky that we've been able to raise our family here. It is a great place. The people of West Texas are truly the best. They are by far the most philanthropic that I've ever seen in any community. When something happens, West Texans step in and help others. And I love that about where we live.
They do. And the other part of it that I really like is that you guys use the ingenuity and creativity that you have to create something that is really necessary. These flame resistant fashions, that's a big deal. That, necessity is the mother of invention. You came up with that. So you have the hats, you have the shirts, and they have this whole store. Tell them where your store is located, because they may want to go in there and get some Frackle and a shirt and a hat.
Yes, please do. Come see us. We are 5 blocks east of the courthouse of downtown Midland. So if you take Tennessee and keep going, you run into Terrell. We're at 410 North Terrell, and you can't miss us. It's a big building, signs all over that say Rig ID, and we would love for you to come in. And I like what you said, Mama Sue, because I feel like Al, he's so he's always thinking, what do West Texans need? And he actually created our own line of clothing, and it's called Thin FR. And because of the West Texas heat, you know how hot it gets in the summertime. I'm getting hot just thinking about how hot it's going to be here in a couple months. And so he created a line of flame resistant clothing that is so thin that you won't be sweating, I mean, you're going to be sweating, but you're not going to be sweating as bad as that really thick FR shirt that is traditional right now. And so I think what he has come up with is because of the necessity, like you said, and already we're seeing every time we get a shipment in, they're sold out of the thin FR because it is so necessary here in West Texas to try to stay as cool as you can. So thanks for pointing that out. And we love local. That's the other thing about our store is we love supporting local. We also carry some other vendors that are local. We have a snack mix called Grandma's Mild that a local mother and daughter produce. And so we just love to support local as much as we can.
Well, that is awesome and amazing. And listen, you've been talking about being a journalist and sharing out here in West Texas. Now, when did the idea come to you to do a podcast? When did that crop up?
Okay, so great question. So back in 2018, our kids were, I guess it was 2016. I stepped away from the morning show at Channel 7, but I stayed on and I did a mom segment actually called Mom's Everyday Moments. And so, or Mom's Everyday Minute, not moments. That's you. You're the moments. I was the minute. So I did Mom's Everyday Minute at Channel 7 until 2018. But when I stepped away in 2016, Al and we'd been talking about doing a podcast. And so in 2018, when I stepped away from the mom segment, they were phasing it out at Channel 7 at the time. We thought, well, let's do a podcast, but I wasn't quite ready yet. Didn't know how it worked. Wasn't sure. Been in TV my whole life. Didn't know how the podcasting world, how do you even, where do you even get the microphone and the headphones, right? That you see right here. Like, where do you even start? And so Al was actually at a YMCA basketball game with our son, and he was talking to the head of Baker Hughes at the time. She said, well, we're about to start an oil and gas podcast, but we really need a host. And I think I had been maybe off air a week at the time. And Al looked at her and said, well, I have the perfect host for you, my wife. And so we kind of just jumped in. The Oil and Gas Global Network hired me that next week and said, we would love for you to host this podcast. And I did an oil and gas podcast for 3 years. Well, then after the pandemic and everything, I thought, I loved podcasting. To me, it's so much, it's like what you and I are doing right now. We get to just talk and connect and chat and, lift others up. And in news and in journalism, I loved that as well. But the time constraints were there, right? You have a 30-second soundbite, a 1-minute story. You can't share someone's story for a half an hour like you can on podcasting. And so I thought in 2021, let's expand this and interview everyone. Everyone is a possible guest because I believe everyone has a story and we can all learn from it and connect and, share tips and share life hacks and share favorite things. And that's when the Krista Escamilla show evolved. And so we started it. It was in April of 2022 and we've been going strong a year and I absolutely love it. To me, it brings me such joy. I love it when a 17-year-old kid or a 60-year-old man stops me in the grocery store and says, oh my gosh, I loved your podcast today. It really makes me smile and I love all the quotes and they start telling me their favorite things about it. Or, oh, I didn't even know about that nonprofit because we shout out a nonprofit at the end of each show. And so I absolutely love that I get to shine a light on the people of West Texas.
I think it's amazing. And I think that you ask them questions that really help them to showcase the best about whatever it is that they are doing or whatever they're involved in. Everybody that's watching today, I want you to be sure to follow Krista on Instagram, on Facebook, and YouTube. Her podcast is on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcasts from. You can see it. Tell us, Krista, when is your show on and how do they can they watch replays of the show and is it just posted there? How to get to it?
Absolutely. So we release once a week. Usually it's on Tuesdays. Occasionally it's on Wednesday or Thursday, but once it releases, it's on there forever. We release on all the podcast platforms. If you are like me and you're visual and you want to watch, you can watch on YouTube. But if you're also a runner and you're running or you're traveling in the car, you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. And it's easy to do. You can go on there and you can binge watch. We've had some amazing guests. I can't wait for everyone to hear your story, Mama Sue. Yours releases this week because I have been such a fangirl of yours for so many years. I mean, I think I can sing, but I can't sing like you. When I hear you, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't even put myself in the category of singer when I hear your beautiful voice. And so I love that everyone is going to get to hear your story even more in the podcast that releases this week. And we've had Randy Velarde, who is a former Major League Baseball player from right here in Midland, Texas, on the owner of Kent Quick Bill Kent, Judy Rankin, an LPGA Tour winner and Golf Channel TV analyst. Her story is on there. So you can always go back and watch or listen to any of these stories. And what I love is every time I listen to one or re-listen to one, I learn something new that I can apply to my life that helps me live my best life, or just a little life nugget, or what I call like a life hack that someone shares. And that's what I love. And so I hope that all of you, can go on there, and definitely you will want to download Mama Sue's because it is amazing. She drops so many beautiful Mama Sueisms throughout that are just amazing.
Oh, well, I had a great time talking with you, and it was wonderful learning about some of the things that you have going on. And I think that what I love the most is that you're motivated to try something new.
Thank
You
you.
aren't stymied by trying something new. You'll get out there and give it a go.
Yeah. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? And I owe a lot of that to my mom. And I always close out every show with dream big, believe, and never give up. And I had those three things instilled in me so much as a child, because there were many times where I failed, many, many, many times. And I just was taught to never give up and get back out there and try something new, because what do you have to lose? If you don't try it, you'll never know. What if you try it and it turns out great? And I'm very grateful to, have that attitude. I hope I can pass that on and share that with others, because I want everyone to try something new every day, and I don't care how old you are, that you're never too late to try something new and to go for that dream, no matter what it is.
I love that. And I love that over your shoulder, we can see that. Dream big. If you're going to dream, you might as well dream big.
That's right. That is right. I feel like God has big plans for all of us, and we just have to go for it and listen to him. And I always say God's plan for me was so much better than I ever dreamed. And I'm grateful that I dreamt as big as I did, because there were times in my life where I know it could have gone a different path. It could have gone a different way, but God had a different plan for me. And I'm so grateful for that dreaming big.
Absolutely. Lori is echoing that in the comments thread. If you all have any questions for Krista before we wrap, you can put that in the comments thread and I'll try to ask her. Krista, what gives you hope?
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. What was that? Oh, okay. What gives me hope? Sorry, I was parenting. Our son has to get somewhere.
That's okay.
The thing that gives me hope, well, I would say my faith gives me hope, because I know that God has had big plans for me, for our family. And every day when I start to feel like, oh, why is this happening? I always go back to that I know that he has a plan for this, and that I need to trust in that. And so my faith gives me hope every single day I wake up, and I'm grateful for the beautiful day that the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice every day. And so I would say definitely faith.
And in this sphere where we are living now, what do you think is the biggest the biggest motivation to women to get out there and start moving forward with their dreams?
I think you like what motivates other women, or what do I feel?
What you feel like is on the horizon for women, because I think that quite frequently, especially out here in good old West Texas, we're in a good old boys world. But why should women be motivated and inspired to get on out there and get with the program
Well,
and dream?
I think women can do anything. And as a mom of boys and girls, that is something I've instilled in both of them. Is it doesn't matter how big that dream is or that goal is that you have, you can do it. And I think for women, we have had so many women pave the way for us and open the doors, but we've got to keep going through the doors. And so to me, the goal is just keep going, keep showing that we can do anything that anyone else can do. There's nothing that can stop us. I mean, I had, what I would call, roadblocks come at me when I was younger, saying, oh, you'll never be a journalist on TV. You can't do that. And I tuned all that out and said, but if this is my goal and this is my dream, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to wait for someone else to tell me that, not that voice that's either in my own head or from someone else. And so I think it's important to just know that you can do anything that you put your mind to and go for it. And that all the pieces, they all fall together in the way they're supposed to. And so I think that women just need to go for whatever that dream is. If it's to be the CEO of their company, if it's to be the president of the United States, I don't care what that big dream is or goal is. Nothing should stop you from doing what is in your heart, because I feel like God places things in our heart for a reason. And whatever that is, we have to go for it.
We had one comment in the comment thread, and she may not have heard you say it, the name of your podcast
It's
again.
the Krista Escamilla Show. That's it. The Krista Escamilla. We had different names and thought about it. And my husband said, well, we're not just talking education. We're not just talking oil and gas. We're talking everything, and you're talking to everybody about it. So we should call it the Krista Escamilla Show. And so on his suggestion, that's what we went with. And so that's what it's called, because it's my name. Just like Mama Sue, right? Moments of Mama Sue.
Yep, well, they can surely identify you with that. Thank you, Krista, so much for joining me to talk on this Moments with Mama Sue episode.
It has been such a pleasure and an honor and a joy. And I just love anytime I can spend with you. I always tell you that anytime I can see you is a great day for me. I love the sunshine that you bring wherever you go. And so thank you for allowing me to be here with all of your guests today. And I cannot tell you what an honor it is. And I love this time. So thank you.
Well, you are most welcome. And everybody that's watching, I want you to be sure and follow Krista. Go to her YouTube channel and become a subscriber. That's what we can do to support one another. Don't just scroll and don't just like it, but post a comment and engage and share and do those things. We always talk about how you can help independent artists and journalists and everybody go to the next level, and we can level up when we have the kind of support that you all are bringing. And I appreciate that more than you will ever know. I want to encourage you, if you like what you're seeing, Moments with Mama Sue, and connecting with me, you can support what I'm doing via Cash App at $Sue Roseberry, or if you prefer, you can do Venmo at Sue-Roseberry-1. And if neither one of those gives you a warm fuzzy and you say, I don't do all that electronic stuff with my money, well, you can just write a check and send it to P.O. Box 51422, Midland, Texas 79710, and we will apply what you send to helping me to do more and better, because connecting with you really is the best part of my day. I want you all to continue to follow me on all of these platforms. I know that you enjoyed Krista on today, because I certainly did. And we want you to go to her platform and look at some of those replays, comment, subscribe, make her feel really good. And let's up those numbers, because we can do that when we all work together. Thank you for being here again on today. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Moments with Mama Sue. Krista, hang out with me a second so I can make sure we captured the information in the broadcast for download. And for everybody else, I look forward to seeing you on the next Moments with Mama Sue. Woo! Now that's what I call a great show. Woo! We out of here. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Now we can do it a little better than that. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Well, all right, come on with it. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Wait. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Never know what to expect. Hey! Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Ow! Moments with Mama Sue. Ow! Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Moments with Mama Sue. Can't you? Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh. Well, now we might be done a little bit too much. Sing it.